Okay, so I'm going to start off with my skincare first because that seems to be what I have the least of. So the first thing I have is the Full of Grace Serum Bar, which is this one here, which I just have in this tin. Now, one thing you're going to see here is there's going to be several YouTubers who I'm going to mention a lot who basically inspired me to get a lot of these products. So the person who inspired me to get this is Gwen in real life, and I will link her channel down below. Basically, she is another Lush YouTuber, and she did a video on a facial she got, and she basically raved about how good this was. Now, this is quite expensive. This was £9, so that's kind of what put me off getting it. But I've used it twice, and I do really like it. And like I said, it doesn't look like I've used it at all, so I think it will last a decent amount of time. And then I just keep it in the tin so it doesn't melt as quickly. And then the next thing we have, I've actually had this for quite a while because whilst it smells amazing, it's not that practical. This is the Movis facial soap, and it's basically a facial cleanser. And I don't know if you can see, it's got all these exfoliating chunks in there. It smells absolutely amazing. It smells like bread, and it almost looks like a loaf of bread. I don't know if you can see that. Almost looks like the crust around the edges. Whilst it smells amazing, it's just not the most practical thing to use, so that's why I haven't used it a lot. So as much as I love the scent, I'm probably not going to repurchase it. And then I'm going to get this out of the way because it's kind of just a mess. This is one of their toner tabs. I think it's their tea tree toner tab. I've had it so long I can't really remember, and it's just kind of crumbled into dust. These are a bit of a gimmick, I must admit. I think this was around £2.50, so I'm going to use it eventually, but I'm not going to rebuy their toner tabs just because, like I said, I think they are a bit of a gimmick. And then this is the Mask of Magnum-Minty. Again, I bought this because Gwen in real life raved about it. This is the self-preserving version, so it lasts a bit longer. I think this has honey in it, and I've used it a couple of times and I do really like it. And it's just a green facial mask. It's basically like their normal face mask, but you don't keep it in the fridge, and it will last a bit longer, like I said. And it's just very cooling and refreshing on the skin. So I've only used it twice, so I don't have that much of an opinion on it yet. I do really like it at the moment, but I'm not decided if I would repurchase it or not. And then we have the Ultra Bland Facial Cleanser. This is again one of Lush's oldest products. I've used it quite a lot. I was initially using it to remove my makeup, and now I've started using it just as a normal cleanser. It's a bit too greasy for me, so I don't think I'm going to repurchase it once I've used it up. It's a very kind of gentle, unscented cleanser. It does have a slight scent, but that's purely because of the ingredients that it has in it, if you get what I mean. It's not like fragranced or anything, but I don't really like this, so it's a bit too heavy for me, so I don't think I'm going to repurchase it. And then we have this, which is Let the Good Times Roll Cleanser. This came out for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it then basically was brought back into their permanent line. This is one of the best smelling Lush products in my opinion. It smells like popcorn. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I originally bought this when it first came out for Christmas, and it really didn't work well for my skin. It broke me out quite a lot. I then repurchased this about a year ago, and it's exactly the same thing, so that's why I've not used a lot. It smells amazing, so I wish it worked for me. I kind of wish I'd learnt my lesson and not repurchased it, but that is Let the Good Times Roll Cleanser. It smells absolutely amazing. And then we have a sample of Gorgeous. Now, anyone who knows anything about Lush basically knows this is their most expensive product. It's a moisturiser, and I think it's around £40 or £45, and I basically asked for a sample just to try it. I kind of don't ever have any intention on purchasing it. I've used it once and it was okay. It's definitely not something that I think is worth the price, although I understand it has a lot of expensive ingredients in it. So I will probably do a review on this, but bear in mind it would be a review on the sample. It's definitely not going to be on the full-size product. And I know I'm going to get this wrong. I think this is the Enzymian facial moisturiser. This was around £15, and I've used it quite a lot, and I do really like it. What basically sold this for me is that it's meant to be almost exfoliating on the skin. It's got like pineapple enzyme, which I thought would be really good for my skin. My skin is very, very acne prone, and a lot of people said this was really good. That and vanishing cream. I've used this quite a few times and I do really like it, but I don't know if I would repurchase it once I've used it up. And again, I think this is one of the oldest Lush products in their store. I've actually been trying to find the oldest Lush products that are still in shops, like not just on the kitchen. I've managed to date it back to about 2000, so if anyone does want me to do a video on that, please let me know. And then I have 4 face masks, which are their fresh face masks obviously, and these are only meant to last a couple of weeks. I basically get around that by putting them in the freezer, and then that way you can basically keep them for as long as you need to, and you don't need to rush to use them up. So this is the Don't Look at Me fresh face mask, and it's a bright blue colour. I really like this colour. I really don't like this mask at all. It just didn't really suit my skin type at all, so I'm not going to repurchase this once I've used it up, but that is the Don't Look at Me Fresh Face Mask. And then this is the Rosy Cheeks Face Mask. Again, I don't like this mask at all, so I wouldn't repurchase it. These seem to be relatively new face masks, this and the Don't Look at Me. And I must admit, I don't like either of the new face masks. And this one is much more of almost a clay consistency, but it's not for me. So once I've used this up, I'm not going to repurchase it. The next two, however, are some of my favourite Lush face masks. The first one is OT Fix. This is a relatively new product to me. The Lush sales assistant recommended this because I've been suffering with quite dry skin lately. I've only used it twice, but it's absolutely amazing. So once I've used this up, I'm definitely going to repurchase it. It has, I believe, ground oats in it as well, which would make sense because it's called OT Fix. It's really good for exfoliating the skin as well. And then another Lush face mask, which I've been using for years, is the Cupcake Fresh Face Mask for when my skin is more acne prone than normal. And this basically smells like chocolate. It's absolutely amazing. It's like mint choc chip, and that's what that looks like. I will definitely repurchase this when I run out. And then my last kind of cleanser is the Flopsy Face Wash Jelly. This was a limited edition for Easter. I haven't used this yet because I want to do a full review on it, and it's basically, if I can get it out without completely ruining it, it's in the shape of a bunny rabbit, and it is incredibly fragile. I know this isn't the best kind of look, but that is basically what it looks like, and I know I'm holding it upside down, but that's just how it came out of the pot, and I don't want to tear it because, like I said, I want to do a full review on it, so I still want it to look nice and youthful when I do the shots at the beginning of the review. And he was quite expensive. I think he was around £8. I've never used any of their cleansing jellies before, so I don't know how I get on with that. And that is in their carrot scent, which is quite popular for Easter. I don't love or hate the scent, it's kind of average for me. Then I have their Tea Tree Toner Water. I used this once years and years ago when I was a teenager, and I've repurchased it because my skin is still very acne prone, like I said, but the acne I have now is very different to the acne I had when I was a teenager. I've used this a couple of times and I do really like it, even if it is just for kind of like a refreshing face mist, so I probably will repurchase this once I've run out of it. And then if I had to recommend anything out of this video that you get, it would be this, which is the Enchanted Eye Cream. Again, I think this is one of the oldest Lush products still in stores, which I didn't realise. To me, this seems like a new product because I don't remember ever seeing it in the shops, and I've been shopping at Lush for about 10 years now. This is the best eye cream I've ever used. It's £15, so I think that's actually a really good price for a good quality eye cream, especially given how much you get. It just really brightens the eyes, and if I've not had enough sleep, I know this is going out of focus a lot, I'm really sorry about that. There, I think that's going to stay there. And if I've not had enough sleep, it really just helps to kind of waken up my eyes and remove any dark circles. The one thing I don't like is, as you can see, it comes with a pump. If you were to actually use the pump, you get way too much product. So what I kind of have to do is almost unscrew it and just kind of take a bit off the actual dipper bit itself, if that will focus. So yeah, I basically will just take a bit off the actual like pipette or the dipper bit, whatever you want to call this bit, and then I get enough. So that's kind of like the only drawback to the product. So that's just something to bear in mind. So those were all of my Lush skincare products, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I will have a link down below to my entire collection overview, and of course each section as and when I go through them. So I think it's going to be hair care next, so I'll see you then.